guys, welcome back to my channel. It is now November, which means that you guys need an October monthly wrap up. So I have 7 books sitting next to me, and then I have 2 that were on my scribd thing, which I've been thinking about getting rid of. Everyone's saying horrible things about it, and I have had the problem that it's been having a couple of times, and so I don't know. We will see how this proceeds, but as of right now, I'm still using scribd. And I listened to the last 2 books of the Narnia series. I'm listening to them in chronological order, not publication order. And I listened to The Silver Chair, and I also listened to The Last Battle. So I am now officially done with the entire Narnia series. But I'm glad that I was listening to them because there's no way I would have been able to read them. The language is too old-fashioned for me, and I don't mind some old-fashioned. I like historical fiction type of stuff, but I have a language issue. I have a learning disability, which makes it difficult for me to read. And because of this, things like languages and older versions of English make them difficult for me to understand if I'm reading them. If I'm listening to them, they're fine. But if I'm reading them, it's like I'll read the words, but nothing will get into my brain. It's just like there's like a block off there. Like I can physically read the words, but nothing absorbs. So I'm really glad that I listened to the entire Narnia series because I tried reading it once before and wasn't able to do it. So this month I listened to the last 2. It's really interesting to see the shift of how things have progressed over it. I know that C.S. Lewis wrote these as kind of an allegory for the Bible, and I can totally see that. But it was still a really good story, so even if you're not religious or into the Bible at all, I still think that it's a good story to listen to, simply because it's a fun story. But it was kind of nice listening to it. It's like it's being told to me by my grandfather or something. So the rest of the books I have are sitting next to me. The first one on the pile, they're not in any specific order. They're just basically stacked up by size, smallest on top, biggest on bottom. Nothing other than that. The first one I listened to or read. This one I listened to as well. It was Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. This is my 3rd trip through it. I've read the first one a bunch of times, and then the second one a few times, and then as far as the whole series goes, I'm on my 3rd reread. I have actually read them before, but I have problems sleeping, and so when I'm laying in bed and I can't sleep, instead of just tossing and turning and letting my brain go free, I listen to books. Some months I go through 2. This month I went through 1. So that's telling you that I'm actually sleeping better at night right now, which is a blessing. But I love Harry Potter. This is definitely one of my favorites. My favorites are kind of tied between this one and the one we learned all about the stuff for Voldemort, the Half-Blood Prince. Those were my 2 favorites. This one because it's the last one that has a happy ending, and it's sweet and fun, and there's nothing really dark about it. And then the other one because I love backstories, and I get to listen to all of Voldemort's backstories. But this one, it's because it's sweet and it's fun, and it leaves you feeling happy at the end, and everyone comes away great. Well, as great as you can come. I mean, you have Sirius, who's, yeah, okay. I don't know what to say and what not to say. It is the 3rd in the series, but it's Harry Potter, so. All right, the next book I have on my stack is Crazy Rich Asians. I know this is supposed to be a satire. It's supposed to be like Gossip Girl for Asians. I don't really understand because I am neither Asian nor rich. And I was not born that way. I was not raised that way. I was not raised around people who are rich. So I have no idea how much of this is straight satire, how much of it is an exaggeration, and how much of it's actually how people act. According to one of my friends, she said that there is a great deal of this that's actually how rich people act. I don't know. I have absolutely no background whatsoever, so I couldn't tell you. But all I can tell you is that it was extremely humorous, sometimes extremely frustrating. I really liked it though. Oh, I didn't tell you what it was about. It's about this girl named Rachel who's dating this guy named Nick. And Nick asks Rachel to go to Singapore with him for his best friend's wedding. And once she gets to Singapore, she finds out that his family is insanely wealthy. Not just rich, but crazy rich. And the hijinks that go on, the family, it switches between different points of view. It sticks to Rachel's and Nick's quite a bit, but it also shows you other people in the family through like little chapters. It'll say at the beginning of every chapter, it says who it is. This one's Eleanor's, which is one of the moms. So you get the moms, the aunties, then the cousins, and they all have their little pieces in it. I really liked it. I finally got the second one in the mail recently. And as soon as I'm done with my Sarah J. Maas reads, I'm going to go back to these because I liked it a lot. It was really fun. Next, for Spookathon, I needed to read a thriller, and I don't have many thrillers on my shelves. I want more, but I don't have very many as of right now. So I read There's Someone Inside Your House. It's supposed to be like a 90s slasher movie in book form, and it completely is. It was really fun to read. It was funny and quirky, and the characters were interesting. It was kind of gruesome and kind of messed up because it is a thriller and it's a slasher movie in book form, and I loved it. And people are getting a really bad hate about it, but you have to go in knowing what it is. If you go in knowing that it's a 90s slasher movie in book form and you don't like 90s slasher movies, don't read this. If you like 90s slasher movies, oh my gosh, it's so great. It reminds me of I know What You Did Last Summer and Scream and all those 90s slasher movies that I loved when I was a kid. Okay, the next book I have on my stack is Legend by Marie Lu. I've been really interested in this one for a while. I checked this out from the library and I got about 3/4 of the way through it and loved it so much that I wanted the next one, and I ordered the entire trilogy. So this is my copy. I still have the library copy. It's like 2 weeks late, but the library's on the other end of the island and I never go down there. So I really have to do this really soon because it's getting ridiculous. I've had it for like 2 weeks past when it's due. But I really enjoyed this. And again, another book. That's the first that I really want to read, the next two, but I've been sidetracked by my Tower of Dawn read so I can read Kingdom of Ash. The next book on my list is from Twinkle with Love. This is the Owl Crate Special Edition with Sanjay Menon's signature inside. I know Sanjay Menon doesn't have a lot of books out yet. This is only her second one. Her third one is in ARC form now. And then her fourth one, I think she just said she finished the first copy of it. But I took a picture of these books after I finished it, and she liked and commented on my picture on Instagram, and I was floored. It was like happy day. Jeffrey, why are you being loud? Do you want something to play with? That's my cat. If you don't know, sometimes it sounds like he's crying in the background, like it's an actual child. It's not. It's my cat. He's just a loon, and I love him. But yeah, she actually liked and commented on my Instagram picture, which was so amazing. It's the first time that an author's done that. But I really enjoyed this one. I definitely like Dimple more than I did this one, but I still enjoyed this one too. I gave it like 3.5 stars. It was a good book. It just wasn't my favorite. But the next one's about Sweetie, who is a side character in this one, and I am looking forward to that one a lot because I like Sweetie a lot. Again, the only default I had, the only problem I have with this book is the same problem I had with Dimple. It's about a film that she's doing Twinkle is making a film for her high school Midsummer Night's celebration at the end of June or something, and she's doing a Sweeney Todd remake, and that's not right. What is she doing? Oh, she's doing Dracula. She's doing a female gender bent Dracula, and the book is so heavy on the romance that it doesn't talk about her movie hardly at all, and that's the only gripe I have. I wish she would talk about her movie a little more, and there were some things that she was just not getting. But I understand this is a teen book. I understand I'm not a teen, but there's times where I just wanted to slap her upside the head because she was just being moronic. And that was the only like default I had to it. Everything else about it I loved. I thought the story was super cute. I thought the love interest was amazing. I was just annoyed at her occasionally and wish that we got to see more of the filmmaking process. Next, I don't have the cover for it. It's in the other room. I have the pretty one right here. This is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. This is my American copy, and then I have my UK copy behind me. This one is about to be a traveling book. I annotated and highlighted in it for the very first time ever in my life. I don't know if you can see that, but I highlighted in there. And then I went through, there's a few places where I actually wrote in the book, which I never do. So this was a little bit different for me to be able to go through and write in the books. I'm trying to find when I actually wrote in. Here's when I wrote in. But I put my notes in it and I'm sending it to my friends, and she's gonna read it and put her notes in it, and we're gonna have our first traveling book. The only reason I still have it is because I finished it like a week ago and I wanted to show it to you guys before I sent it off. But it's going to go in the mail this week, and it's going to go to her, and she's going to annotate it, and then we're thinking about sending it to a third person. But at bare minimum, it'll have the two of our comments and highlights and stuff in it, which I'm very excited about, and I very much enjoyed it. Everyone gives like this completely vague synopsis of this book, and the reason they do is because it's hard to explain what it's about. I've heard some people say it's like an Atlantis retelling, but it doesn't feel like that to me. It's about this lost city. They call it Weep. And there's this guy named Laszlo who's been obsessed with this city since he was like 5 years old. And he remembers the day that the name was forgotten and it became Weep. I don't really know how else to describe it. I think it's really good. I liked it a lot. It's very lyrical. It's very poetic. That's Laini Taylor's style. But I definitely had a hard time getting into it because I listened to Laini Taylor's last series and I ended up doing a listen and read at the same time to make sure I understood everything. And part of that was because I was in my brain cannot function to listen to read fantasy without help. So I got help, but I still loved it a lot, and I'm looking forward to getting to Muse of Nightmares really soon. Can you see a November TBR right there? All these books that I've read the first one to, and I need to read the second. That's my TBR. Last, but definitely not least, is Tales of Beetle the Barb, the illustrated version. I found out this was coming out, and I got really excited about it. I read it for Spookathon because it has pictures in it. And I'm reading it to my daughter at night now, and I loved this book. I've never read the older ones. I have them, but I've never read them. I'm not sure why I've never read them. I just haven't. But this is all the like little kid stories that they told to wizarding children. Like we would get the Brothers Grimm versions or Hans Christian Andersen. They got Beetle the Barb. And I was really excited to be able to have a copy for myself, and I loved it. I read the whole thing already, and now I'm making my way through it the second time with Elise. So yeah, that is what I read this month. All 9 books that I read or listened to, I consumed in some way. And I want to hear what you guys read. If you guys have any good suggestions on what I should read next, even though you know I have a few things on my list to read. Actually, I've got like 3 bookshelves of stuff I need to read. But that's all for right now. I can hear my son coming up the stairs and he's bringing me lunch. I'm so excited. He's so sweet. And he got quieter as he's coming up because he knows I'm talking about him now. He's standing at the top of the stairs smiling at me. So I'm gonna go ahead and go for now, and I will see you again in another video soon. Bye.